innovation and progress depends on diverse thinking, women in STEM face unique challenges. From the classroom to the boardroom, gender bias persists. But among these challenges, remarkable stories of resilience and inspiration emerge. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Maya.
And I'm Evelyn.
And this is Trailblazers!
Before we deep dive into these incredible stories, let's take a quick journey through the history of women in STEM, from the groundbreaking discoveries of Marie Curie to the invaluable contributions of the hidden figures who helped put a man on the moon. Women have been breaking glass ceilings and redefining what it means to be a woman in STEM, amplifying the harmful stereotypes that have been placed on them for years. Another incredible woman who altered the STEM world is Katherine Johnson, an American mathematician who calculated the orbital mechanics for NASA.
Thank you for the history lesson, Evelyn. Now, it's time to hear from women today who are conquering through rough terrains with their fierce determination and perseverance.
Our first guest is Fatima, a student who has a passion for coding, but her journey hasn't always been so smooth. Like many girls growing up with a parent in the tech industry, she felt the pressure to follow in their footsteps.
I always admired my dad's work in computer science. He had a great job and I wanted to be just like him. Initially, I thought taking CS classes would be easy, but I quickly realized that they were harder than I expected. I started losing motivation, and I struggled to keep up with the workload.
The initial excitement can give way to self-doubt when the challenges become apparent. But Fatima, when you hit that roadblock, what kept you going?
Looking back at my dad's journey, I realized he faced similar obstacles. He worked hard to get where he is today, and that inspired me. I thought about how his experiences must have been, and it drove me to push myself further.
Evelyn, I know you have some experience coding because you're a video game designer. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, of course. So when I was growing up, my mom was always my biggest cheerleader. She taught me to be strong and independent, and that's what drove me to pursue video game design. But my first group project in high school was a wake-up call.
Why was it a wake-up call for you?
I was excited about the project, ready to contribute my ideas, but as time went on, I noticed my thoughts and suggestions were being ignored. I felt like I was being erased from the process. Because of it, I started to lose all motivation to become a video game designer.
Wow, that must have been incredibly frustrating. How did you even find the strength to speak up?
Well, my mom was always encouraging and strict, but she always told me, "You have a voice, use it." So I took a deep breath and brought up the issues with my group, and it wasn't easy at first, but I knew I had to stand up for myself and my ideas. I had to be selfish in that moment.
Wow, that's incredibly inspiring. I think a lot of women in STEM can relate to being unheard in these spaces. Developing strong advocacy for yourself is useful for the real world. To our listeners out there, I know it can be a lot to be unheard, but you have to strengthen your voice.
I know my biggest motivation is my mom, but what are your guys' motivations?
My biggest motivation is to be a role model to other black girls because we are underrepresented in this field. I have a little sister, and I hope she can have the opportunity to do whatever she wants as well.
Maya, could you tell us a bit about what your motivation is when pursuing cybersecurity?
Growing up, my parents instilled in me the importance of education and achieving my potential. I felt a huge pressure to excel, especially since I was the first in my family to pursue higher education.
How do you cope with these expectations?
There were definitely moments when I just wanted to give up, but I kept thinking about my parents' sacrifice and how far they've come. That motivation of their immigration to the U.S. helped me push through the challenges and strive to make them proud.
Wow, you have a strong willpower. I think many people need that quality in order to achieve their goals.
It seems like we all have experiences that are shaping our motivation to pursue careers in STEM.
From the classroom to the boardroom, women in STEM are breaking barriers every day. Their stories remind us that progress requires courage, that innovation thrives on diversity, and that with motivation, there is no limit.
With that being said, I think this is a great place to wrap this episode up. Hope you learned something new. Thank you everyone for listening in today, and we'll see you next time on
Trailblazers!